Hey everybody, Spencer here. So I want to apologize for my voice in this video. I've been sick the last couple of weeks. I got sick 2 weeks ago, got better, and then got sick again. And my throat is just not having it right now. So I want to apologize for this noise that's coming out of my mouth. It's a little bit worse than the typical noise, you know what I mean? But thank you everybody for watching. It starts out okay, but my voice definitely starts to suffer as I go through it. So I want to make sure that I get this video out because I really do want my listeners' help on this one. So thank you everybody so much for watching and enjoy the video, and I'm sorry for my sickness. Hey everybody, and welcome to a video on the Constructive Criticism YouTube channel. I'm Spencer, I'm the host of Constructive Criticism, and I'm here today to talk to you about one of my favorite things in the world, and that's Limited. Yeah, that's right. We're here to talk about RNA Limited. And this is a format that I'm actually having a lot of trouble with. So today is my call for help. I want you to leave a comment to help me out with this. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to give you where I think this format lies. And then together, we're going to try and figure this out through the comments. Let's help everybody else improve. Because honestly, I'm not doing that well in this format. I think my win percentage is probably barely above 50%. And I've got a lot to learn and to work on in this format. I'll talk to you about, first of all, my struggles. And then we'll go over some of my initial thoughts and break down where I'm at so that people can help me understand where I'm wrong, where I'm right, and where I can lean in, where I should back off from. So, with that being said, let's talk about my struggles. So, first of all, my number one struggle with this format is understanding what it's about. Am I supposed to be an aggressive deck? Am I supposed to be a slow control deck? And is it just a mishmash of mid-range where you need the right type of creatures and the right type of effects? Where does this format lie? So I've had success with a couple of different things, but I've had failure with all of the same things. So for one, I don't know how many 2-drops I'm supposed to play. I find that sometimes I get run over by 2-drop, 3-drop, and sometimes 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. And in those type of formats, I think, okay, well, this format's about being aggressive, so I should play accordingly. However, I don't think those decks come together very often. So I'm having trouble saying, okay, so what percentage of the time is this correct, and what do I do from there? The other thing that I'm struggling with is understanding, is this a Prince or a Pauper format? So recently, we've had a lot of Pauper formats. A lot of formats that the decks are built upon your synergies and your commons and uncommons. I'm not sure that this is one of them. Other than the Rug deck and stuff like that, I don't see a ton of synergies happening. There's some synergies in the Orzhov deck. There's obviously synergies in the Rakdos deck. But I find that the games that you win are almost always dictated by rares. And even though I say that, Rhythm of the Wild as an uncommon has been one of the best uncommons. I find that most times that you get to resolve a Mystic, the counter spell, the Mystic Snake card, that you win those games with your Simic decks. So it's not like it's all of the games. I've lost games, by the way, where my opponent had 3 main deck or 4 main deck cancels in their deck. I don't know what this format is about, and I'm having a really hard time with it. The other thing I'm not sure of is wedges versus guilds. Is this a format that's a 2-color format based upon the 5 different guilds available to you? Or is this a wedge format where what you really care about are getting the gates that you need, building the best 3-color mid-rangey deck, maybe a little bit aggressive, understanding your curve, understanding the mana sources that you need, and winning by just having a good 3-color deck? And I don't know. I've had success with straight green-red, straight white-black, straight blue-white, even straight Rakdos. But at the same time, I've had Teamer decks, I've had Jund decks, I've had Bant decks. What is this format, and what colors does it want you to be? Maybe there's just a ton of decks. Whereas in the last format, there weren't that many decks. You were just kind of sitting there in your lane with your 2-color deck among the 2-color decks. And maybe this one has more. Maybe this is an 8-deck format, and I just need to find those 8 decks and find where I fit in them. The problem is that, let's say that there's a blue-red deck, a green-red deck, and a Jund deck. What cards are you supposed to take? How does that work on the draft table? And honestly, I'm not figuring it out. I don't know. And I'd love if you leave a comment, let me know what you think that's about. Is it wedges? Is it guilds? Is it both? And if it is both, how does it work for you? Also, there's just the gate deck in general. I know that I've had success with, and I've seen other people just drafting these Gatebreaker Ram decks and these Colossus decks that are having great success just being these slow decks. And at the same time, I see people getting run over by 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. It's hard to know what you're supposed to be doing in this format, and I usually have a really good grasp on week 1, week 2 limited. And I'm just not having that here, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's go over the colors really fast if we can. So first of all, we have Azorius. Azorius was the first, second, and third deck I tried. And one of the reasons is because I wanted to try different things that the deck was doing. I do like Blue-White Skies. That's one of my favorite decks. This deck also has unblockable creatures. This deck has good cards at all the curve, it felt like. And the deck is certainly fine. Blue-White Skies is definitely a deck you can draft. It's even a sealed deck that you can play. I don't know how good it is. I'm not sure. I've had decks that I thought were really good that I got a lot of losses with. I've had medium decks that I had a lot of wins with. I'm not sure how Blue-White Skies ends up. I've also had Bant decks that played Blue-White and Simic at the same time. And I'm not sure how those decks turned out. My mana was good. Shark to Crab is a great Magic card. But one of the things that I have found is that I feel like I'm drafting 3 colors sometimes to make up for the fact that I don't have any great rares. I don't have any great synergies. And I'm just drafting good cards.deck. And I think that might be part of my problem. Next up we have Gruul. This is by far the most successful I am at in this format, is with Gruul decks that are either splashing black or splashing blue, or just straight Gruul. And I think Rhythm of the Wild is an insane Magic card. I think that, I'm having success with this deck, but at the same time, it's not like I'm getting 7-win, 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 right? Or 5-win, 5-win, 5-win. It's more like I'm going, 4-3, or 4-2, 4-2, 4-2, and it's fine. You get great 2-drops, right? You got the Simic 2-drop with Monstrous, or with whatever the ability is called. You've got the red 2-drop that pays 4 to give it +2/+2. And so you have good 2-drops in this deck, which is one of the things I like about it. And then also, your uncommons are just pretty good, right? Rhythm of the Wild is really strong. The +4/+2 card is really strong. Plus, you can kill a flyer in a lot of situations. You can kind of just run over people. And this is the deck that I've had the most success with. But it's not the deck that people consider the best, which is why I'm confused. Rakdos, for example, is a deck that I tried 3 times as well. And I've tried it, maybe I've tried it 2 times. I think I tried it 2 times with a bunch of green splashes on the other ones. But one of the things that I'm having trouble with here is I understand this deck wants to be aggressive, but at the same time it plays a 4-mana Mind Rot. And that 4-mana Mind Rot is really good. And I'm not quite sure where I sit into how aggressive am I supposed to be with understanding that the games are still going to go long in a lot of cases. And in me understanding that, and understanding how all of these decks try and do that, I think will be the key to me getting better at this format. Orzhov, I have tried 1 time. I had a winning record. The deck seemed awful outside of my rares. I won all the games where I played my rares. I had the indestructible card and the enchantment that gives +1/+1 to my creatures, -1/-1 to my opponent's creatures. That card was insane. My deck seemed mostly medium, but I won the majority of my games. And this is the archetype that people think is the best. And I can see that. I can see it. It slows down the game. It has good life gain 2-drops. So, for example, the 2/2 that gains you life, it's like the Soul Attendant. That card's good in this format because what it does is it allows you to take chip damage while developing your board and then clogging the board so that chip damage doesn't matter anymore and that it can't exist anymore. And that's great. That's really helpful. And maybe that's my problem with this format. Maybe this deck is so good, it's the best deck by such a margin, that I hate playing so much that's why I don't understand what this format is about. Because I hate Orzhov decks. I don't find them fun. It's just removal spells and creatures. They're typically not very good. And in this case, maybe they are good. Maybe that Afterlife mechanic, letting you block something, get a little bit of extra value, is something that I can learn to enjoy. And I only put down in this deck 1 time. It's then totally reasonable. Just not my favorite way to play Magic. I don't know. And then lastly, we have Simic. I have not drafted straight Simic. Simic is also missing something really important, I find, which is a straight removal spell. So in the last couple of sets, you've had these blue enchantments that just remove a creature completely, basically. You play it, it just taps it down forever, right? And that's the blue removal spell. And Simic doesn't have that. It's got the -4, -0. It's got a bunch of bounce spells. It's got Shark to Grab. It's got great uncommons, but it doesn't have what it needs to remove threats. And because of that, I find myself oftentimes just playing Teamer every time I would be playing Simic. So that's kind of my initial impressions of the colors. I think for wedges, I've played Jund, I've played Bant, I've played Teamer. I have played, I think, Esper once. But, you know, things that I haven't tried Mardu. I think that might be the only wedge I haven't tried. So there are certainly things going on. There's the 4-color gate deck, but I don't know what it's about. And what I want from the listeners of this video and the viewers of this video is to help me. Help me understand what I'm doing wrong. Sealed and draft are my favorite formats. I want to be good at this one. And I want to enjoy myself while I'm playing it. And maybe it is, Spencer, you need to learn to love Orzhov and Mardu and accept that's the life you live in. That's the only good deck. Because I do have a good win percentage with that deck, but I don't love it. I don't love it. And I'm not having fun in this format. And I want to be having fun. And I think that once I understand what the format is about and what I can be doing to get better at it, I will be having fun. Because I enjoy winning. And I also enjoy learning. So leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Help me get better at this so that we can get better together. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/ccmtg and patreon.com/thetrophymages to support this content. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys all next week with another video.